Okay, as you can see, I have 8 cards on the table of various values, suits, and colors. Okay, and I'm going to have you help me mix these cards as well as we can here. Now, since we both saw the cards, I don't know if you have a photographic memory. I don't. But I thought we'd mix them. In fact, if you were here, you could randomly cut the cards at any location, and that would be just fine. Another great way to mix cards is something called the down-under or the under-down, and both of these lead to very different mixing of the cards. So why don't you choose one of those? It's a free choice. That way you will very much be affecting the final ordering of the cards. Which of those two would you like? Down under or under down? Down under? Okay, very good. So you go down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down, under, down. Last one goes on top. Okay. Now another wonderful way to shuffle or mix cards is to deal them out into 3 piles, especially in the case of 8 cards, because 8 is not divisible by 3. And so it just moves the cards around in a very haphazard way. Now what I'd like you to do is to help me mix these cards into 4 piles. So I'll go ahead and just deal them out into 4 like this. Okay. And how would you like these stacked? Left to right or right to left? Left to right. Okay. It's a free choice. Okay. We can also do something called leapfrog stacking. That's a cool way to stack the cards. Would you like to see that? Which direction? Right to left? Okay, so this pile leaps over its neighbor. This one leaps over its neighbor. How would you like these stacked? Left on right? Okay. So that's one way that we can mix into 4 piles. Another interesting way is to use the Klondike shuffle and to shuffle little pairs of cards to the table. Okay, this is a relatively new way to mix cards, but it does a great job. How would you like these stacked? You have the same choices, left to right, right to left, or leapfrog, actually. You want left to right, leapfrog. Okay, so this one leaps over its neighbor. This one leaps over its neighbor. How would you like these stacked? Just left on right. Okay. Would you like to do any more dealing into 4 piles like that? Just regular? Okay, not the Klondike dealing. Okay. How would you like these stacked? Right to left, no leapfrog. Okay. So are you content that the cards really are beyond the knowledge of anyone? Given, especially if somebody was hoping for a certain outcome, I think you would have to agree that they would have to know ahead of time the choices that you would make. Okay? In fact, I'll even give you one final chance to scramble the cards. Would you like to do dealing out into 4 piles again? Just standard dealing or Klondike dealing? You want one more Klondike? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's your choice. We could have stopped, but you decided to do one more. Now, how would you like these stacked? Left to right, no leapfrog. Okay, that's fine. We will do that. Okay, so now I've done everything you've asked me to do. So what I'm going to do now is deal them out into 3 piles, since it does such a great job scrambling these cards thoroughly. And then I'll deal out 4 cards. In fact, we're going to give you a choice here. So I have a pile of 4 and the remaining 4 cards. Which of these 2 would you like? You want the one on the right? Okay, very good. I'll take the one on the left and we'll set it aside. Okay. So for the first time, let's take a look at what cards you've received as a consequence of all of the choices that you've made. Okay. Now, maybe before we reveal that, I do want to point out that I have a written prediction that's been in camera view the whole time. Okay, so let's see. What does this say? The sum of your card values will be 21. Oh, well, I know 21 is kind of an important number in card games. What do you think the choices are? These card values just happen to add up to 21. After all of those random and unexpected choices and free choices made by you, I would say it's highly unlikely. So let's just see. Oh, there's a king. Oh, that's 13 already. We're getting close to 21. 13. Oh, plus 1, 14. plus 2, 16. There. For this to be true, this will have to be one of the 5s. Either a 5 of clubs, hearts, spades, or diamonds. Otherwise, we've blown it. It is indeed. It's the 5 of hearts. How did you do that? This written prediction was set aside before we even mixed the cards and before all of those important choices were made by you to scramble these as much as you would like. Wow, how did you do that? Okay, so let's quickly show you how you did that. Okay, so we're at a good place, as always. So the 2 kind of groups of cards that we were working with, or are working with here, there are 2 groups of cards that actually do both add up to 21. Okay, so if you check this, these add to 21, these add to 21. Okay, so what I did before I showed you the cards, I just randomly stacked those. And then I just did one step in preparation. I did a Klondike shuffle, which puts the top and bottom halves in an alternating relationship. Okay, even though it'll be hard to tell here because, you know, the identity of the cards is fairly well hidden, right? These are cards that add up to a certain number, 21. Okay, so you can show this and they're not likely to see anything, certainly not see the conclusion here. Okay, but since this is, quote, an alternating packet, you can perform random cuts. Spectator can cut it anywhere, won't hurt it. Or more powerfully, you can perform a top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom, and I can add a link in the description below to the Charlier shuffle. Now from there, I dealt out from there we gave you a chance to use the down under or under down. Almost left that one off. And this is a really big choice here because those 2 shuffles, for anyone who has studied card magic, knows that those are very, very different. Okay, but nonetheless, both of those will allow us to achieve the outcome and succeed in the end. Okay. So I think we did down under, if I'm not mistaken. So why don't we do an under down just for variety? So under down, under down, under down, under down, down, under down, under down. Last one goes on top. Okay, so what this does, let me just tell you what it does. It takes an alternating packet and it creates 2 dichotomous blocks. What does that mean? Well, these will be the 4 cards that add to 21, and these will be another set of 4 cards that add to 21. Okay? So in some sense, they've kind of separated the alternating structure. When you have a packet like this, you can easily convert it to a Bessie sequence of order 8 by doing this triangle deal. And then you pick up the first packet first and then stack in the opposite order counterclockwise. Now this will be in a special arrangement that we call a Bessie sequence. Now the reason that this is valuable is because when the cards are in this organization, there's dozens upon dozens of ways to mix this packet and not fundamentally change its structure, which means you haven't really lost information or control of the cards. Okay, so the 2 of many shuffles I offered you was a dealing out into 4 piles, just kind of a standard way of dealing into 4 piles, with stacking from left to right or right to left or leapfrog stacking. And all of those work just fine. Here's leapfrog with random stacking here. The other one is a fun one and relatively new. It's an alternate Klondike. I call it a judicious alternate Klondike, where your Klondike pairs to the table, 4 of them, and then you stack from left to right, right to left, or leapfrog, so that's the same stacking options. Maybe we'll do leapfrog from right to left, and maybe stack this one on top. Either option's fine. Okay, you can do as many of those 2 kinds of dealings as you like. You truly can. You can do dozens or hundreds of them. If you have a spectator who asks for that, and you both have sufficient time and patience to perform those, it won't hurt anything. Okay, so after that mixing, to convert it back to this block, the 2 blocks of 4 cards that add to 21, you just do the triangle deal a second time. And so what will happen, just top 4 and bottom 4 will both have the property that they consist of card values that add to 21. So it doesn't matter which one they choose. And so you can discard this one. If you want to be sneaky and discard it in a way that maybe it gets mixed up with like other cards, like over here or something, you could hide that information if you wanted. And then you can just bring out your prediction and say, wow, despite all of those choices made by you, I believe I saw the future here, that your card values would add to 21 of all things. So let's just check that. Oh, it looks like it's the same set as before. Okay, 13, 14, 15, 16, and there's that 5 again. Okay, very good. Okay, so now you should be able to do this. Now, to understand really what's going on here with Betsy's sequences, you would really need to take a look at the series that I will link in the description below to Bessy sequences and quasi-Bessy sequences, and it will teach you everything you need to know about these special organizations of packets of cards that you can mix in so many different ways, but not lose track of where you are and what the organization of the cards looks like, even though the spectator is making many free choices along the way to mix the cards. So thank you for watching, and take a look at other videos on the Absolute Math Magic channel.